honestly, but that's the case here from a technical standpoint.
It's a reality that we're
It is a reality.
Do you think that defense names are one of the best performing sectors of 26?
26. It depends what's going on.
You know, you can.
Well, think about it. So if Ukraine and Russia come to a deal, if Donald Trump gets that deal done, maybe we see a slide in some of the defense names, right? What's going on with Venezuela is already essentially over. They're just looking to cook up a little bit of oil in there now at this point. What is that next big thing? I don't know. I don't know. I think if the deal in Ukraine gets done, you might see a little bit of a pullback.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. I think it'd be a local pullback, but I personally, just my opinion, it doesn't change the narrative fundamentally enough. I think that, you know, you're getting the world rearming, whether it's like Germany rearming, Japan now they're talking about rearming as well under the new prime minister there. So I think the world is going in one direction. You know, I mean, we have to be ready for a big one.
And I think, you know what's unfortunate about all of this stuff, and I'm speaking from experience, and I'm not saying necessarily in a bad way, you know where I stand in this position, but when you have all these big and fancy toys, what do you want to do with them?
Well said, man. It empowers you. It emboldens you.
You want to use them.
Exactly.
Right? You want to see what they can do. So that's the unfortunate thing. And hopefully we can get some things to cool down, because this piece is much better.
I would not mind that whatsoever.
Right?
All right, boys and girls and everybody else. Guys, it is 2:01. Joey and I will be back tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. The big boys are that away. I'll see everybody at the big desk shortly.
Welcome back, everybody. We're apparently that away.
Oh, there we go.
This way, that way.
Are in here. That's good.
Everything's settling in. I heard the boys are talking about defense spending, which, just to throw in there, I don't think resolution to any of the conflicts has anything to do with future defense spending. It's such a short-term thing. All that matters is budgets, 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 and budgets keep going up. And as long as that's the case, I think you're going to get that money for sure. But let's be real. It's been a pretty strong day if we're talking about the markets, man. Like, we're almost a full point up now on the Nasdaq. The ES has already made, well, I mean, we're back off of the highs a little bit here, but the ES has already made its charge into the top. So new fresh all-time high there. Nasdaq trying to fall behind, even though it's leading in percentage. As mentioned, it's the S&P, which is 100% leading the way. And some good earnings this morning. I shouldn't say great. Like GM was an example of something really good. But my goodness, that UNH. The dumpster fire that, well, let's just say that fire is not going out anytime soon. 20% to the downside. And yeah, suffice to say it's been short all day long. This one was trouble before. It's trouble now. There's not much you can say that's going to be positive for UNH today. Like, there hasn't been like a kernel of strength, unfortunately, for this stock. But the big earnings are going to come tomorrow and Thursday as well. So, you know, we buckle up because I think that's going to matter more to the market. Like, the market, like you said, the ES is going to make all-time highs. It doesn't really care what's going on in some of the healthcare names. It hasn't been a problem. It's been some tech strength that's able to lead us through or guide us through all this chaos that we talk about. I'm just in Rivian off of VWAP here. That's pretty much the only trade that I'm in. And eyeballing GameStop, which, believe it or not, GameStop's maybe going to break this high, the triple top from earlier today. Yeah, I think it could be a bit of a triple top breakout there for GME. We'll see if it goes. I mean, it's pretty much creeping up to there right now.
Yeah, tomorrow at this time we'll get the Fed interest rate announcement. So that should be something to look at. Of course, I'm short everything. We're short silver here. What a good trade that wound up being on this short. Just all the way to the downside there. Comes into 96. We'll cover that trade down there a little bit on SLV, and we'll try to go short again against VWAP right now. I was debating going against the 200 period, but it's getting extended out a little bit. I'm still going to hold that. Like, we're putting on not the biggest position, because I still want to hold this in case we do break back above sort of 98. I mean, I was trying to use some of these levels into here, 98.30, 98.50, and then 98.75 is that little top wick right there. So looking to see if silver can hold underneath some of these levels. And then we shorted Google again off the 200. Was waiting for a much bigger trade off VWAP, but we get it once and twice. So that's a nice move down there. Now that's 50 cents in the money. Silver is going to be a risk. We're going to wait for that one. And then we did short SMCI, something very similar underneath the 200 period. Looked like it was trying to break down a little bit right here on SMCI. So, you know, these are some trades that we're working with right now. And of course, just as we left you guys, This is what happened to me on the futures. We got top ticked there, and then it tanked. So we didn't actually have anything on that trade. So the TQs will be my P&L #1 to the red side today as we get stopped out right there just before. Like, how frustrating is that, especially when we're trading big shares? That's a problem, but you got to have stop orders when it's there. So there's the move back into the 200, so we wind up missing that. But yeah, so far, here we go, silver. This is going to be the one for me looking at this one as it's really starting to get going here off of that bottom. See if we can turn green on the day for SLV. We have a much bigger trade waiting on this name a little higher. We're going to be shorting that 98.50 marker if it does come in. So SLV on the watch right now. And yeah, man. And then even that Palantir was a great, like, all these names, like this was a short here on Palantir. Can you even imagine? Like down to 166. So there it goes in. That's 250 in the money. But of course we get stopped out. We would have got stopped out there anyways. But yeah, we had some good plays, but you know, not great timing there. This one hurt the most. And then SMCI right now, we'll have to wait, man. We just keep on getting like 90s here. 88s, 90s. It doesn't seem to want to break, but hopefully it does. And then my next fill will be around here, the 80 marker on the downside. So yeah, that's what I'm working with right now ahead of earnings tonight. Should be a couple good names there. Coming through, and
nothing too crazy tonight, but we do have. Oh, sure. I was just about to double check. Oh, yeah, it's Texas Instruments. I knew there was one that probably is going to pique a little bit of interest. I just saw some people in the chat mentioning MP having a bit of a recovery day. Obviously, I wasn't here yesterday to see when MP died. Like that's a drop, like right away at right off the open. Like it's never all that healthy. If like the first candle off the open has this much selling, and then there's not even like a relief. Oh, like, hey, we've just dropped $6 or $7, 10% on the opening candle. Oh, we're not gonna bounce an inch. We're just gonna continue to drop for the next like 4 or 5 candles. Like that's usually a sign of something. And then when you come into this gap, some people are like, oh, but look, the gap's filling, it's a long. I don't know, I always see that kind of a move as an opportunity to look for fades. So this afternoon, I'd be looking at this from like 69.5 to 71-ish area for a bit of a turnaround, but that's just my 2 cents. So it's that or GameStop, which is still attempting this weak breakout here that I want the long off of. I like 2 things on GameStop today. I literally like the 25 break, and I like the long bouncing off of 23. Well, it never got to 23, but it put in some higher lows in front of it, so that's all we ended up trading. So maybe look for VWAP here as well. FJ88, what's your take on SoFi earnings coming Friday? Popular question. We got SoFi questions this morning. I guarantee you we're going to get more SoFi questions before they eventually report end of week, I believe it is, because they're the 30th. So date's today, Tuesday? Yeah. So they're end of week for SoFi. I would be concerned that anybody in the banking industry has gone down regardless of report. So for me, when you look at that, they've got the 25 to hold on to, but even like a micro move, even like an expected move takes you back into the 200-period moving average. So I think that's where we could be headed almost regardless of report. But when you put things into context on the monthly chart, if it so much as closes next month a bunch above like 25, 26, then that's a good close on the monthly chart. So it could have a little bit of a mess after earnings and still look good on a higher time frame chart. But I'm kind of leaning more towards the downside, at least initially. Well, I think we see Sharif there getting ready, locked and loaded.
We've got a big trade here with SLV. Fine. Yeah, SLV just came in right here. Big trade alert. I told you this would be the one that we'd be looking at, and there it goes. Silver right back into the 200-period moving average. So all is well on this side as we continue to short silver. A positive name there today. Nice move. Right back in. Boom. Right off VWAP. Let's see if silver can. I mean, I don't have too many more bids, man. I'm bidding 97.30s, which is, roughly this 50-period moving average. It's at 25. We'll sit there at 30. Hopefully that comes in, and then we'll see about a much more dramatic move back down in with my next bid being a lot lower than the last. So we'll see what's going on there, and then we'll have to wait on SMCI. I don't know, man. If this breaks 31.10, then we're going to be out of that one. VTIX is halting. What is that? Let me have a quick VTIX.NQ.
No, I know that one.
That's nothing. Yeah, that's nothing. Yeah. Okay, and then MB.
Can't trade.
Halting Master Beef.
That's literally...
It's a dangerous name.
No, it's
right there. And then that's it, man. There's really nothing else. We had Move halting earlier on. This is done 6,000 shares, man. Yeah. And then we had Move, so that's not really halting. We had Move actually halting earlier this morning, and that's had some moves down into the downside right there. Oh, what's up, Danny there? Green, you made, okay, here, I put this up. You made 400, that's a nice day. Right there, $450 there today, shorting SLV, boom. And going long Uber. Did I miss it at $80? I mean, I guess so. I don't have Uber on my mind right over here. UBER. Let's have a quick little check on this one. Ooh, $80. Yeah, well, I got 80 to 81.50. Yeah, look at that. I mean, that's a really nice move there. If you're looking at the chart for Uber, yeah, I mean, we wicked down here previous. I mean, that you probably got to hold that probably there for 50 cents, 40 cents. So good little move there to get that back up to the upside. Yeah, Uber's a little bit in trouble with some of that robo-taxi talk there. We'll wait to see if Uber can get off the bottom. Wow, there's so many names that are like this, man. Good names that were at once darlings that have now been sort of left for the wayside here. Uber down 20% from the top there. So yeah, not great there on Uber, but great on silver, great on the Google short. We'll see if that can come in a little bit more. And then was debating reshorting the Nasdaq as well, but I don't want to just be caught short. I'm short everything. DraftKings, $30. Yeah, this is another level that I was looking at right here. If we wound up breaking now, we're underneath, a little break there. We saw a downgrade in Flutter today. So, wow, okay. Yeah, that downgrade really did something right off the jump there for Flutter. Wow, okay, here we go, man. Wow, we are printing now, man. There goes Google. What just happened to Google? That was a nice little move to the downside. Take advantage of that. So we put an offer out now and see if we can get it. We just missed that move down. I'll bid 21s there, but nice move down there for Google. Like, what just happened there? Down into 335. I got to get my audio visual going here. I have the audio. I didn't hear anything. Nice
I think we are... Google. I think we are ready. We'll get to the rundown in just a quick little second here because Sharif looks locked and loaded. Sia is ready to go this afternoon. So we are ready to see what names you guys were the most interested in. I have a pretty good idea because we were running them down this morning. I think we're going to have at least two that begin with the letter R, but I'm not sure they'll be at the top of the list. Sharif?
You're accurate again, Neil. Welcome, everyone, to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every afternoon. The big boys, they're back. They're locked and they're loaded after that crazy snow day, and they're ready to look at that at the tickers decided by you. But the only way to get those tickers up there is to join us in the chat any time of the day and vote for your favorite tickers. But you got to throw in that $, otherwise it doesn't register. So to make sure to vote every single day. Let's look. Start here. Let's look at all four major averages, and 3 of them are positive, 2 of them are not. The triple Q's up almost 1%, 0.92. The SPY is up on the day, a little bit below 0.5%, up 0.45. But the Dow Jones, the DIA getting absolutely clipped, down 0.9%, likely, of course, as a result of the earnings miss by UNH. The IWM essentially flat on the day, up 0.7, but not a bad look. A couple of hard trading days for IWM these past few weeks. Let's start with the first ticker as decided by you guys. Rich Tech Robotics are up 41.6%, trading higher, Sia, after the company announced that hands-on collaboration with Microsoft. What more can you tell us?
Yeah, it's just like the companies that work together. They basically enhanced Adam robot with the adaptive intelligence, which was powered by Azure AI, and that's like really all. There's not too much details that are provided, but pretty cool.
Agentic AI, guys, it seems to be all the rave right now. Rich Tech throwing their hat into the ring, up 41%.
And 20% is the short float, as I looked it up, at a second source. I believe, you know what, I think this is one of the few times where Benzinga had the low estimate on those short floats. So Rich Tech, it's somewhat of a squeeze. This morning, was pretty convinced that the long was going to run out of some steam at in that 480 quadruple top. Well, what was a quadruple top? It ended up a triple top up there. So we had a long when it broke trend from 430 and trailed out at 460. It then broke out the top, and look at that nice. Like, there's your break, pull back in. I was sitting here looking for a short trade. although technically I wasn't sitting here, I was in the bathroom, but either way, this one went absolutely ham. I tried a reversion trade at 520 to give some back, but ultimately the close, I can't see it not closing above 480. And if it's closing above 480, then this is in danger zone for the shorts because you've held the 200 period. Look at how well it's held the 200 period on the daily. That's the other thing. Like it's accumulation off the 200, and this breakout seems to have some room now to $6. So on a swing basis, as long as we can hold this 480 level, maybe even the that to $5, Rich Tech looks like even a solid continuation play. Like it's got some more legs to it. I don't know their situation regarding like an offering or anything like that. So all caveats are always the same when it comes to a small capper like this. You have to know if you're holding something, you bring the register a little bit so that you can not get trapped if they do an offering overnight or in the morning or whenever they might. This is so accustomed to on a lot of these stocks. But yeah, great look here for them. I think the deal is fantastic. The short float's certainly a part of why you're up 41%. I mean, the news isn't going to really be the reason you're up this much. It's more the squeeze than anything else. So, like the news is why you're bouncing off the 200 period moving average, and you have all this condensation, like all this accumulation down here. And then when we get the news or the catalyst, you get the big spike up because that's the shorts getting wrecked.
All right, guys, here we go. Let's just do this, and we'll do a little bit of this too, because there's some money coming in now on Google. We just did this. We're reloaded. We just got more shares right there on Google. Nice move down. We took some more 60s right there. Nice drop right into 30s, and it's continuing lower right. Yeah, let's go, Google. Let's go. We just got a nice little fill there. Again, 31s. That was the fill. So we're going to wait to see where we go here on Google. Nice little reload there back to the end of that trade. We should have Brian Shannon coming on around 2:30, 2:45. Oh, there goes Google. So he's just bumping up again. He posted about Rich Tech, so we're going to talk to him about his opinion on RR. Join us in just about a half hour. We'll have Brian Shannon on from Alpha Trends, and he'll tell us what he thinks there about about Rich Tech Robotic. Okay, let's go back over to the desk and see what they're up to.
Journalism.
That's awesome. Sia's almost done school. All right, guys, let's talk a little silver. Down 0.5% today. We've seen Sean in and out of this all day. Citi, though, sees silver rising to $150 an ounce, led by Chinese buyers. So here's what they wrote, Sia. They're saying that Citigroup expects $150 an ounce within 3 months. Silver is behaving like gold squared or gold on steroids, Goldman analyst Max Layton said in a note. He thinks that the rally likely continues until silver looks expensive by historical standards. So we often talk about the silver-gold ratio. If the ratio of gold prices to silver returns to that 2011 low of 32-1, he's saying it would point to silver trading as high as $170 an ounce.
That's
Unreal.
A lot. That's a lot.
And
as we know, silver climbed above 112 yesterday on Monday. But another cool thing that I do want to mention here is that Marko Kolanovic, the former JP Morgan chief strategist, said that silver is almost guaranteed to drop 50%. And from all these levels within a year or so. So there's like very confusing statements happening here, but
yeah, some bearishness. Yeah, some bearishness, some bullishness. Guys, I want to tell you as well, Apple, an interesting headline coming out here from noted insider Ming-Chi Kuo. He posted this about Apple. Rising memory prices will impact iPhone's gross margins, but Apple's strategy is to take advantage of the chaos in the memory market, leverage the certainty of securing supply and the ability to absorb costs to increase its market share and then make it back later through the services business. So a note here by Ming-Chi Kuo on Apple, but silver down 0.75%.
You know I'm loving Apple. Apple was the #1 trade today. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, silver, I mean, I don't know if it's going to drop 50%. I would like to see if it dropped 50% right now, but I'm short. And yeah, I feel the same kind of ways, right? I mean, yesterday we traded silver and we were short basically the whole way. And then this happened in the afternoon. I don't know if we're going to get a complete repeat of that or not, but I could see traders getting real nervous right now about their silver positions. So, you know, we'll continue to be short on this. I mean, you just got to ask yourself, like, would you be adding up here? There's many different ways. PSLV is another way to play it. There's many different stocks that, you know, are silver miners, and, you know, there's so many different ETFs and different ways to play it. I just wonder, if we're getting a little toppy up here and, you know, there is going to be an unwind at some point, there's a lot of gaps that need to get filled into here. So there's many days where we gapped up like 5 or 8% and never came back, and then, you know, just continued to go upside. So what finally, you know, the biggest red day that we've ever seen, not ever, but I guess, on silver, was also followed by far the biggest notional day ever traded for SLV. Over $38 billion was traded in this one ETF yesterday, and it was a red day. So for me, I'm going to still continue to look to go short. Always try to find some spaces to do that trade, right? I mean, we should have hit it right off the open. Like I said, I was talking with a guy yesterday at hockey about, you know, how now all of a sudden I'm like expert silver guy when I know nothing about it. I said, yeah, on this show, all I'm doing is trading silver now, and it's so much fun, and I only started 2 weeks ago. So late to the story here, but waiting for these kind of opportunities, which is why we lost right here, right? I mean, it comes up to VWAP and then it tanks in. We tried it right there, lost it, then just got back in and was like, I'm going to hold it against the 200, and that gave us everything back on silver, and now we're working basically with a new trade here underneath VWAP. And I actually wanted to extend this one up to the upside because I do know how volatile it is. But, you know, that's still only 220. I was going to say maybe we could stop out here and regroup. That could be a trade too. But, yeah, I feel more comfortable holding the short in SLV with a dying US dollar. Generally speaking, you know, silver would be going to the upside here. But maybe with crypto, if that can start to bounce, it'll take some of the shine off these metal names, and, you know, they'll stop going meme crazy, and we'll be able to get some good trades here. But we'll wait to see what happens with silver. Hopefully it makes a move down. I'm short, and it's a pretty decent trade. So we'll see where it goes from here.
Yeah, silver was a weird one today. I put this one, it was actually on my note, but outside of a keystroke error, I didn't trade it until the middle of the day. But it was what happened yesterday that was insane to me. Like, you have the biggest volume, like Sean said, the biggest volume day. I think it was the biggest volume day ever, but could always ask Jim.
That's what I said, I don't know.
I heard, look, I'm pretty sure I read that on the way in somewhere. So as far as I'm concerned, it's almost certainly right. And it's so big volume relative to what it was doing before. But it's the behavior. It was this clear trend break. So on my note this morning, like the plan was, we'll play for mean reversions on the 15-minute. Not the 3-minute, not the 1-minute, not the 5-minute, on the 15, and look for the 99-100 area to give me like an over-under. Just meaning I like it for support or resistance, and I don't care which way. I want to play, if it mean reverts off of that level, I wanted that trade, and that trade specifically, off like the 99 to 100 zone, which is right in here. It's where it broke out and started trend up in the morning. It's where it continued downside. So it came in, there's your mean reversion, and it broke it right here on the 15 at about 11:30. It was one trade on silver, so that was it. And I feel like that's the way I want to go with this stock. I want to look for the bigger trend trade on silver, and when because it seems to do one almost every single day when you have these big volume days. The days that it's boring and it looks more inside, then don't touch it. But when we get these more parabolic type situations, I'm just going to be looking for the mean reversion. Before we go back to the desk, I think we just had a super chat up there, so I want to get that. If we can get that up there again, Andre. Oh, it was news? Oh, no, there was a super chat. There was ILS there, BZAI and Nokia AI News under the radar, in your opinion, $8 target by analysts. So, Blaze?
I'm just staring at Randy's face right over here.
Randy's just giving us the eyes. First off,
what to think over here.
BZAI is teetering on the precipice of doesn't look good for a gapper. Like, it's tried VWAP, but gap higher, high in the pre-market, lower highs all the way through. So whether or not the news has anything, I'll give it A, habitual line stepper on the daily chart. B, it's like can't hold VWAP on the intraday. So I don't love the technicals of it, and I don't know too much about the story to like it. But good luck if you have it. Certainly, maybe there's something if it can hold a 50-period moving average. That's certainly a maybe. But definitely we can go back and see the next name on the list, because I know there's at least one more beginning with R.
All right, guys, we got to interrupt the thing here with Netflix. Netflix really recovering and moving up quite aggressively, about 1.25%. I can't really see off the bottom. This just came in. Senate Judiciary Subcommittee to hold a hearing on the competitive impact of the proposed Netflix Warner Brothers transaction. That's a statement. Not really sure who originated that, but the price action reacted off that 84.10, now breaking through 85 right now on NFLX. Still down down 0.69% on the day. Let's go to UNH though, because that is the one that is next. And oh boy, we are on the precipice of going 20% negative. See it, we're down 19.83%. It was the earnings this morning that sent this one down.
Yeah, and it has seen its first annual revenue drop in the last 30 years, which is it's a long time. So a couple things what the company reported for the fourth quarter was the earnings per share was 2.11 adjusted versus the 2.10, which was expected. And revenue was 113.2 billion versus 113.82 billion expected. But it climbed from 100.81 billion in the prior year quarter. Okay. And another thing, the medical care ratio for the year was reported at 89.1%, which is reflecting a 20 basis point headwind from lost contracts related to a charge, and excluding that impact, the adjusted medical care ratio was also 88.9% up, which is 340 basis points from a year earlier.
All right, guys, good look here for maybe the dip traders. Are you guys punching in UNH?
No. I'm buying Oscar Health. I've never owned a UNH.
Absolutely not. And I'm glad I'm out this one too. No, it's, I don't know. Like, there's nothing. What are we supposed to glean out of this that was positive, right? Like, it was a mixed report, at best, with a revenue miss and the president taking aim. So temporarily speaking, like, what do we like? I don't see the reason to like it. And what has this stock really been doing? Like, it's been giving you extension away from the 200, dip buys that are. Maybe you can make a good argument about 300 here, a solid argument about 300 there. Outside of that, it's been $240 and over here, $250. So a couple of times you've been able to play the 300 level. I would argue this to the 200 period is about as good as you're going to get at the 300. Now that's gone. So like at minimum, you got to give this like the 3-day rule or something. Like, it's just too nasty for UNH. Let it calm down. When it's gotten ugly before, it hasn't exactly been a 1 or 2 day thing. I wouldn't expect this to be any different. It was so heavy off the open this morning that like when you're down this far and the first candle tries to bump through 300 and then closes at 290 and then we get follow through to the low, well, that tells you what the big money was doing here. They were not being subtle about this. They were dumping it. And when it touched VWAP, they dumped it. So hard pass. This one is a flush. Yeah, it's kind of gross. Maybe it's not, I don't know. Well, no, but it is. What are you supposed to say?
Look, I'm going to buy Oscar. I like this name. I think it's a new name in the space. It's made some lows, obviously. We have a report, I think, in 2 weeks or so for Oscar Health. And, you know, the whole space, Molina down, Humana down today. You know, UNH is not giving any love back to this space. But, I mean, they're just such a huge business and a huge company. They will be back. And I think it's, you know, worth buying it. But it's a political thing, right? With this Trump administration, you never know which way the wind's going to blow. So I would say, you know, healthcare is not going anywhere. Neither is the insurance business. And so I like all of this. And I really think that Oscar does have such a great opportunity, you know, to blow out through some of these tops that, you know, if you get an opportunity to buy a name like that that's down here, I think it's worth it. They had a decent report last time. I'm buying more Oscar, but not today. So OSCR, I like the space. And the healthcare names, I mean, they just continue to be a little downside here. And I'll actually have to get the chart up. I don't have it right now, but we'll do that in a couple seconds. Let's go back over to the desk and see what is the next topic of choice.
USAR, USA Rare Earth. We saw this one really skyrocket yesterday after the federal government announced they're injecting $1.6 billion. The latest move by the Trump administration kind of reshore that domestic rare earth critical minerals project. Separately today, we had different analyst agencies weighing in. Roth Capital maintaining a buy on USAR, boosting the price target from 25 to 35. We also had it raised by Canaccord Genuity from 23 to 33, as well as benchmark. Really, this was the biggest one here from 15 to 45. See, USAR down 1.5%, but it had a big day yesterday.
Yeah, and they also announced a non-binding letter of intent with the Commerce Department, which was to provide it with about $1.6 billion in financing. Also, USA Rare Earth raised another $1.5 billion in private sector investment, 10% of which will be acquired by the Trump administration. Under the agreement, as seen on my screen, Washington would receive 16.1 million shares of USAR and will warrant to purchase another 17.6 million shares, both priced at 17.17 a share.
Guys, this had a nice pop really early in the morning yesterday, and then it literally faded the entire day. And now we're down again. What's the look?
Well, it was a little different today. Like much the same way, like I looked at yesterday's chart and silver and sort of waited till it did something similar. When I saw USAR, I was like, okay, well, if it gapped up on that, and then at the open, it failed lower high, and in the afternoon, it failed a lower high, then at the open, we failed a lower high. So I was just looking for this little 25 gap to take us into this range. Like once we broke down, I actually sat in this for like, I don't know, it was like 40 minutes or something in the morning, just saying, well, this breaks down at the 25. My stop is just above the $0.50. And so either it's falling apart under here on that structure, or that's a one and done. So it ended up kind of a one and done deal. Like it just didn't fall apart. But I still believe this looks overall bearish until proven otherwise. Like if you make a higher low and break out 27 or something tomorrow, it doesn't look very good. The price action has been bad on this gap up. It just managed to hold the 25 level is what I would give USAR. So you just don't see candles like that on the daily chart very often. For USAR, you got to show me something to make me bullish on this for the next day or two. I'd probably take another shot at that 25 if it tries to break down tomorrow.
Yeah, I was going to say CRML, critical metals, has been on one to the up. By the way, silver, great. You just got somewhere else in the 70s there. It did rip a little higher before we had to get out. So quick little note on silver there. But yeah, critical metals, what a move down today into 16 bucks, now up to 18 and change. Like this might be the one. We talked about their relationship there in Greenland and what that means. But this could be, you know, good structure here. It looks like it's trying to base out and then grow. You know, still these lows are getting, you know, higher and higher. So that's looking pretty good. Like you go from 1350 right there to 1650, and now see if we're going to be holding 1850. So yeah, CRML. Although today, don't look at it intraday. I mean, it gets pretty dangerous there. But, you know, if you just look at the chart and how it's all structured out, it looks like it's a decent move higher there for CRML. So in this space, I think this is the right, you know, the right way to go at this point if you're looking for the metal space. And then yesterday, live right here, I said, you know, why not take a quick little look, guys, over at LAC? And that made a move yesterday right back in on that story. And it made the highs up there, broke through 7. And then we're like, if we can get this down into 550 or so, this could be a good little long as well. So there's Lithium America up 4% today and trying to go. And then here's my guy right now, man. This is the one that's going to win me this contest. This is Big Bear AI. And as you can clearly see right here, up 7%, getting going here, Big Bear AI. Just, you guys are talking about it. You know, there's the bounce. We've been talking about buying these dips into the 200 period, whether or not you did or not, who knows, but trying to take out the 50. We still need to hold this 650 and get a little bit higher, but Big Bear AI looks like it's building a big base right there, and hopefully it can get going there to the upside. Big Bear running into a problem though at 615. We'll see if it can go just a little bit higher here. Yeah, big Tesla earnings tomorrow, Meta earnings tomorrow. It should be real exciting, man. Apple, it's going to be, Apple's I think is Thursday, but.
And then Fed.
And then Fed tomorrow. Yeah, Fed tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, well, also too, like ASML overnight.
Yeah.
Whenever the heck they do it, whenever they do it in Amsterdam.
12:30.
So, yeah, it's going to be wild. You know it's going to be a big time mover, and then it culminates. Like Apple's kind of like they rule Thursday, but tomorrow Lamb also is going to report. That's a big name. But I believe we got one to go. Just one, before we get back, I just want to say something about this VTIX, because it was another, my goodness, look at the drop in VTIX. Well, yeah, this stock has done it's done 75,000 shares. It's 2:30 in the afternoon. It's done 75,000 shares. Hold on a second. I'm going to breathe in, and I'm going to breathe out. And Tesla just did 75,000 shares in less time than I probably just breathed in and out. Like, it's just completely insane. So you can't really trade this thing. You can observe it, and you could, yeah, you could watch.
Is this a good thing? I don't know enough about John Wick.
Gives John Wick vibe.
Good thing or bad?
Okay, so Maybe I can vaguely remember a scene where he had those glasses on.
Okay, good. Okay.
But like I haven't seen, and I haven't watched the latest one. I didn't watch, and I haven't seen any of them in a few years. So I'm struggling. I'm struggling to remember when it is. But like I can vaguely remember him wearing glasses like that. I don't know, man. But I do love them. They're really good movies. It's just they were kind of like watch it once and then.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like I never really watched any of them more than once. So.
Johnny Wick. Okay. All right, let's keep going on this one. Silver, we'll talk about that. I don't know what's next. Let's go over to Sharif and figure this out. And then we should have Brian Shannon coming on in 10 or 15 minutes. So that should be exciting. We'll talk to him about a few different things.
More information on this Netflix story, guys. So the hearing date that we talked about, because in case you're wondering, Senate Subcommittee to hold a hearing on the proposed Netflix Warner Brothers deal. It's slated for the 3rd of February. It's going to be the Senate Judiciary Subcommittee. It's led by this individual called Mike Lee. And this Mike Lee guy, he expressed concerns in the past that it might be a killer acquisition, which he described as a move to weaken a competitor by tying them up in a lengthy merger review. Witnesses slated to testify at the hearing are co-CEO, I should say, Ted Sandoris, as well as Warner Brothers Discovery Chief Revenue and Strategy Officer Bruce Campbell are slated to testify. So more information on that as Netflix tries to go green on the day, still down 0.2%. Let's go to RDW. This is the next one here. Redwire stock is soaring on a missile defense agency contract award. Looks like they're getting some money here, $151 billion, Sia, for RDW for missile defense.
Yeah, that's it. It's up 28% as of today, and after it announced that it's going to support U.S. President Donald Trump's Golden Dome defense initiative. That's all I have for.
All right, you guys. RDW up about 30%. We're involved in this one on the midday. What's your look?
Well, I can imagine this would have been a fantastic one on the midday. But if you look at this, so there was like, remember at the beginning they showed there was some like small cap and I'm like, that's a habitual line stepper, that chart looks trash on the daily. This one's not so bad. I'm not gonna tell you that it's perfect, but it's not abject disaster on the daily chart. Like outside of, okay, fine, you've had an unwind from some highs, but overall, like it's on a very good uptrend. It's above the 50, it's above the 200, it's got accumulation. Sometimes what you want to see is you can find accumulation on a small cap stock or a mid cap stock or something with a big short float. When you see that accumulation, it's just a better place to swing. And you're getting the breakout usually after accumulation, and then you get like a positive story because someone always seems to know these things ahead of time. But it's going to have to do some work to close above 1375. It feels a little, as hard as this is to say, like for a stock that's up 29% and this far above VWAP, feels a little dead. Because the volume is completely tapered off, which I guess is normal, but it gets really died down. So I want to see the volume spike up again. Maybe it needs to rinse something out, retest VWAP or like 13.5, and then it becomes interesting. Or like, sorry, this is more like 13.6 or 7. And then maybe it gets interesting in the afternoon. But yeah, this actually looks pretty solid on the daily chart for sure. And I just want to address something because this is a fun suggestion in the chat here. It was DJ2, where do you have it? No, you know what? Your first comment was that we should all shave our heads to support Joey options. And I simply said, yeah.
How is that supporting him?
But this is my response. My response was, yeah, but didn't he shave his head by choice? Which he did. It was a fashion statement. Of course. I'll be the first person to tell it. I'll be the first person to, like, I shave my head as a thing. Like, I've done it before. I mean, it's always, like, if we're shaving our head for a cause, I mean, I'll do that in 2 seconds. But just to be clear, Joey Option shaved his head as a fashion statement. I think it looks good in it. Fantastic. Do what you got to do. But I don't know if it's solidarity, man. It is what it is. I think it's a solid look. I'll probably do it at some point in the summer, just, when it gets a little hot up in here, just take a few extra whiskers off the top.
Yeah. All right. I've been too busy trading, man, to pay attention to what we're doing. But yeah, nice moves down here for SMCI. We're starting to cover. Like, I don't know if this is going to break everybody. So if you're sort of sitting here with me right now, I took a little bit there when we broke. Basically, we cut some 93s. It's not even like it's that relevant, but we are trying to. I just want to bring this to everyone's attention. Like, I'm not sure what's going on here with SMCI or the futures, but it's looking like wants to do something. I just don't know if that's going to break. And then on silver, I'm still waiting for 50s. Like I took a little piece there because we did come up and then we went back, but I'm still going to wait for 98.50 and then give it 25 cents up to 98.75. So if that continues to go higher, then I guess we'll give back some of what we made right here, right now on silver. It's just, I don't know, trying to see if there is this drop that could potentially be coming, and just trying to use some of these levels like right into here as a stopping zone. But maybe we can give it to the 50 period. Moving, or the 200 period, but yeah, silver, just gonna take, you're gonna see my position change quite dramatically here once we get 98.50s, and then we'll give it 25 cents, and then that's it. So yeah, that's what's going on over there. Google's still in the money, doing what it's doing there, and we just went over silver and SMCI. So yeah, the rest, as they say, is history. Let's go back over and figure out. Oh no, Sharif's gone.
I think we're done. I think
so that's it.
We're gonna have Brian on in a couple of minutes. Well, there was a headline. I mean, we might care about this. I don't know how much. It's not going to necessarily move the markets, but okay, fine. Sharif just goes, it's important, Neil. Prime Minister Carney here in Canada says talks on a formal review of the USMCA treaty are to begin in coming weeks. So for what it's worth, next in line are probably necessary talks between the US and Canada. I literally just went out Friday with my buddy who runs a trucking company, and you want to talk about like disruption in business, like
yeah, of course.
I mean, like that's the transport business. If you were like a Canadian trucking company with heavy U.S. traffic, and that's a good part of your business, like man, talk about like need to pivot and shift. And thankfully they've done well with it. But like, there's a lot of people here that want to see deals get done, and we'll see what happens. Ultimately, there's been a lot of heated rhetoric. I don't want to use the word crazy, but there's a lot of heated rhetoric is the best way to put it. And we'll see what happens in a couple of weeks there. Just before I think maybe we have a couple minutes.
Yeah, I mean, we have
but I'm just going to tell you, like, I'm in one trade, and it's basically just chilling out, just waiting for the low of the day on Rivian. Waited for it to get to VWAP again, and then put it on. So I'm not going to be forcing anything this afternoon. I feel like that's, like, typically been a recipe for disaster, but if we get to VWAP, I do like it. And then GameStop is the other one. Like I said, that's on the radar. There's its attempted break. It's putting in lower highs after the breakout. So I'm going to do it this way on GME. There's VWAP. There's one test. If it can bounce off this trend line, that it gives me 24.2, then I'll go for the long off 24.2 instead of waiting for the volume weighted average price. GameStop, there was Michael Burry news to go with the story before with our good friend Cohen buying shares.
All right, man, here we go, man. It's another one, and there it goes to the downside for silver. So we get our fill at 50 like we said we would, or like we said we would take, and then there it comes back in, giving us all the profits we need right now on silver, putting us green on silver on the day, of course. And it wouldn't have been so if that had ran the top. But it doesn't. It comes right back in. And now let's see what happens here with silver. Taking 1-to-1 right now. Obviously, we told you we were going to be short 50s, out 75s. So we're emptying out. I'm now out of about half of this trade. Let's see if it makes another move lower here. SLV. We have the short on and a good position. Let's see if it can work, right? I mean, back into VWAP would be 98. So I do have a bid. Just making sure I have too many bids. I have one at 98.08 and then lower. And then if we can get into, some of these levels that we're talking about, 97.50, 97.60. But we could still run the top. And if it happens, it happens. We're here to trade. So, all right, SMCI. Let's go again, man. There's another trade for you. As this continues to go down in. And, when you find trades and you put them in and you just take them. I wasn't even on SMCI today until this setup looked pretty decent for me. So there's the break, and we just went over it, right? And so we were like, SMCI seems to want to hold there. There's the fall down in on SMCI. So we're just doing what we do best, man, trading. So there it goes to the downside right there. And yeah, silver came right back. So this is what I'm saying about, all right, let's get another piece out. You never know. You never know where these stocks are going to go. So when it goes in the money, that 1-to-1, we do know that silver can absolutely collapse. I mean, we were part of this trade yesterday. So there it goes into the downside. I don't, today, we've broken above. We're going to have Brian on in a couple seconds here, but we've broken above VWAP right now. It's not looking like the greatest trade. So that's why we emptied that clip out. If we can fall, great. If not, then we get out and we just say, you know what, we tried. And that's what we're doing right now against some of these levels. Just didn't think that this move would get extended too much, but we'll take one more short, and then we'll see if silver can give something back. It's, you know, right now, doesn't look like it. But yeah, other than that, man, we're still in the money on this trade, so that's going to be a good one. And then our Google shot is another sort of VWAP special right here. And if we can get that up to 336, that's where we'll put on a much bigger short and then see if we can bring Google back down into the downside. I mean, it's been a pretty negative trend here in the afternoon. So ever since about 11 o'clock, Google's been falling to the downside there. So we'll see if there is a little bit of a bump up somehow in this market. We'll be able to sit there and take out some Google right there. All right, though, without any further ado, though, we've been talking about having him back on this week. He was on last week, so let's bring him on. It's our guest trader of the day. It's Mr. Brian Shannon. How are you doing today, my friend?
Hold on, Sean. There we go.
There we go. Okay, now we're twinning. Okay, perfect.
Oh,
I definitely like that. Okay, so first thing, there we go. Now we're all doing it. Yeah, you got the red. I got the yellow. Brian's got the plain ones there.
These off, man.
Brian, an interesting name. Go ahead.
Oh, there we go. Get the yellow.
Oh, you got the yellow too. Yeah, okay, same as mine. Yeah, a little bit of. Okay, cool. I was perusing your Twitter account, or is it called X these days? You were liking Rich Tech Robotic, and that's a name that, you know, we've looked at today. It looks like it's up 42% right here and climbing higher. What did you see down here on Rich Tech? Is there a current position that you're thinking about or maybe in? I see a 50-period bounce. Obviously today getting news with Microsoft, but there it goes, Rich Tech Robotic. You like the stock or what?
You know, I liked it for a day trade. I'm out.
Okay.
They had that big news, of course, and the stock broke higher on that daily time frame. I was watching a little bit in the pre-market, but then I got involved over here, really, just for a day trade. And it was just showing, really, the thing is, Sean, the way that this thing just stair-stepped higher was absolutely beautiful. And, you know, we had these higher lows all along here. And I was actually holding until right at that point. That's where I got out and never got back involved. So it was a nice, you know, beautiful pattern of higher highs and higher lows. And just, you know, that's the way I look at risk management on the very short-term time frame. And, you know, we were well extended from the daily VWAP. So I'm done with that one for now. But it was a nice little mover for sure.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, right? I mean, obviously as traders, we can't sit here and predict any of these news stories that are going to happen in the next couple of days. But when they do hit, you know, you follow your patterns and we see what's going on over there with Rich Tech Robotic. Okay, last week you gave us another great call, and I know you were in and out of this one, but TMC is another name that, again, if you had a little bit of a longer time frame rather than a day trade, then maybe, you know, we did touch in this $9.50, $10. I remember when we were talking about this basing out down here in and around $7. What do you think now? I mean, it's a nice pullback off of yesterday. We had a few names yesterday, USAR, CRML, some of the metal names, critical metal names going to the downside. Do you like TMC here and a little bit of a pullback? I think it looks okay holding that 200 period.
I don't like the way it just gave up all this big gain here all at once and just caved in. It probably needs some time to, you know, heal and, you know, prove itself. It reminds me a lot of what some of these other little stocks have done recently, like Plug. Plug, you know, was up, it was down, it was back up, and then all over the place. So TMC, it probably needs to heal a little bit in here. It's good that it's holding that 20-day moving average right now, but I'm just leaving this alone till it kind of settles down a little bit.
Brian, I was reading this one book here. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but I do want to show everybody. This is Anchored VWAP right here, Maximum Trading Gains. This is the man that we have on right now with us, Neil. We are so lucky to have Brian Shannon. So if anybody's interested in an Anchored VWAP strategies or to understand them, go through this book. How many pages does this have here, Brian? Probably 234. And isn't Michael Noss in here a little bit? Or was that your first book? I think he had
about him in there, yeah.
Yeah, or there's a forward or back when we were talking about you. But again, Michael
has great VWAP work as well, and he's you know he's automating a lot of it, which is great. Back testing and automating.
Yeah, he's on our show quite frequently. Talk about automation. Is that something that you have in your trading, or are you just a guy still point and click? Let's look at charts and get this done.
Just that, what you just said.
Same.
Look at the charts, point and click. Let's get this done.
Okay, well then, hey, you and I are more alike than we may know, but yeah.
Not the same if you don't hit the key.
Yeah, I wish I was a little smarter to create some of those algos, but I think you can do the work here. People always say that you know that these machines are going to replace our sort of job here that we use as day traders or, you know, swing traders and all that. What do you think when people say that, you know, that this is a job that's, you know, going to be potentially by the wayside in the next 5 or 10 years? I mean, I think we've been hearing that for at least the last 5 or 10 years, and we're still here. So what's your opinion when you hear things like that?
Yeah, they kind of said that about HFT, that, you know, HFT was going to run things. And, you know, as long as people are programming computers, they're still based on something. And if we can, you know, they're based on VWAPs, they're based on moving averages, volume, relative strength, whatever. So it's our job to understand what motivates those programs to move. You know, that's why I always look to sell a third of my positions on the very first day up near daily R2. 85% of the time, a stock will trade within daily S2 and daily R2. So it just makes sense to start to tighten my stops there and take a third off. If it starts to pull back, great. I'm, you know, in a much better position of strength, and I've still got 2/3 of my position. So we've got to just, you know, realize that they've been calling the end of everything forever, and you know, it's still here. If it changes, we're just going to have to adapt, or, you know, maybe the doomsayers are correct. But I'm not ready to, you know, give up my perceived edge, or my P&L edge too. It's not perceived.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Now, you said something, not liking a pullback, you know, the way that some stocks or small cappers or runners might pull back. I know you've talked about space stocks, and some of them have been running. I want to ask you about Rocket Lab particularly. I know there's a bunch of names within the space, but it's been, I mean, spectacular on the daily chart. You can't really complain. It's been in the midst of a somewhat, you could call a healthy pullback. I mean, it got almost to $100. Yesterday had a pretty distinct down day, right? Like, it had its worst down day in quite some time. It was really from the afternoon on Friday, then a continuation on a Monday. So you have a small recovery day here on Rocket Labs. Like, what would your approach be here? Because I know oftentimes when we see trends up like this, like, most people are like, oh, well, where do I get in on the dip? That can be tricky when you have that heavy a sell-off for a session and a half. What's your thought on this stock in particular, and maybe if there's something in the space you like even better, pun intended, I suppose.
I got it.
Let me know.
You know, in particular, Neil, the way it closed right on that low yesterday was particularly vicious. It closed below the advancing 20-day moving average. So this is the type of action I love to see, is when a highly popular name starts to get volatile. And here's the thing, is that this is showing some big volatility, and that volatility right now is showing a lower high and a lower low. So it's supposed to find buyers near the 20-day moving average. So that's a level of interest. What I want to see is maybe we start to see this range settle a little bit, that 5-day moving average flattens out, and then be a buyer of some strength with a stop, you know, under here, let's say. But I like the way it's setting up. It reminds me a lot of ONDS and ONDS. And this kind of had a nice violent shakeout as well. I've been pointing to the anchor off of this low, and the 50-day moving average might become tested. But now it looks like ONDS, hopefully this is just a shakeout, and from failed moves lower often come fast moves in the opposite direction. So tomorrow, the 5-day moving average will be declining as we get rid of this data. So I'm hoping maybe we run up to the year-to-date anchor, pull back, and then get ready for a buy in ONDS that will see this move continue.
Yeah, I like that setup, because I'm looking for Rocket Labs. Where is it going to make that run to 100? So, you know, buying that dip and looking for the signs that you need that's the idea. You have to have a trade, you have to have an edge, you have to have a reason, not just I want the stock to go up. I want to switch gears. Here's
the thing, too, real quick, Neil, is that there is a company coming public on Thursday. I don't know I didn't write the name of it down, but it's symbol YSS, and they are space infrastructure and satellite systems. So I think, you know, that money, you know, that will create some hype for this group again. And the one that seems the lowest risk setup right now, and I'm actually long some from earlier today, is GLXY. And this one, you can see, has a beautiful little flag here. It was up on really nice volume. It pulled back on light volume. This is what I was looking for yesterday, was for it to rally up, pull back to the 5-day moving average, and get going. So that's why I'm long this stock with my stop under here. So Galaxy, just a beautiful little flag in here. And this was an IPO just back in May of last year. So this one looks like, who knows, maybe it's heading back up towards this level. I don't really like to do price targets, but that's a beautiful little flag in my favor in this group. I know that KTOS is another one a lot of people have an eye on. And this one pulled back just shy of the 20. So tomorrow, with this declining 5-day moving average, tomorrow I'd love to see it do this, pull back, and then I think you got to be looking to be a buyer over here. This is buying strength after the dip. That's what I'm, the type of thing I'm looking for in some of these names.
Yeah, and just a note on that Yellowstone YSS, that's a $625 million IPO. So it's almost as big as the one we had. There was a big one last week that it's equipment, EQPT. Right. But just before, I was going to ask you something about the SPY, but I want to come back to this IPO for just a quick second. So when you're looking at these space plays going into this IPO, oftentimes, and I would have reserved this for maybe a SpaceX, if there's a huge IPO, and I'm talking gargantuan in the space, I tend to be worried that can signal a bit of a top for the sector. Now, YSS, Yellowstone, probably not going to be in that sort of a realm, but do you look at like the pop on the initial IPO as an exit point for your sympathy plays, or does that only apply if it's a game-breaking name in terms of size within the sector?
Yeah, that's great. So because we have this coming up on Thursday, I'm hoping that the stock will continue to run up in front of that IPO. And if it's super strong, I don't know what the range is, but let's say they price it at let's say the range is 24 to 26, they price it at 30 and it opens at 40. Well, then I think people are going to say, oh wow, space is here. What else can we buy? And they're going to look at things like GLXY. They're going to look at RKT and KTOS and Lunar and Rocket Lab and all these other names. And that is an opportunity not to sell the stock, but to say, okay, now that everyone's aware, let's just be super defensive. Kind of like what I said about gold yesterday is, it hit its measured move objective. It's 5,000 even. I sold one of my bullion holdings for 4,988 yesterday. Just to get that 5,000 number mentally. But, it's just a reason to become defensive. When the momentum is there, you don't want to sell it all into that momentum, but you want to start to look at it very carefully and know what your exit strategy is so that you're not the one left holding the bag if if the stock runs to 36 and then the IPO comes out and it drops to 32 and you're sitting there wondering, why didn't I sell?
Yeah, fantastic point. I'm glad you brought it up. And it's funny that you say all this. ASTS, which is another space name, and someone just pointed this out in the chat. Our viewers are all over the ball with this. Just broke the high of the day and is up 4.5%. So maybe people are watching this. You talk about the space sector and decide they want to buy a little bit of this. I have no idea. It could just be look. There was already strength in the region or in the space, and they're heading higher. I got to stop saying space, but it's hard when it's in the middle of your brain. Just one quick pivot, and I'll throw you back to Sean. Today, the Nasdaq. Look, the Nasdaq's up almost a full percent today, and then you have the SPY up 0.5%. But it's actually the SPY that's sort of breaking out the top here, suggesting it hasn't really been all about tech. So if we could look at maybe the broad market, is there anything sentiment-wise that would? Is there anything sentiment-wise at this top with the SPY testing highs now? Of course, the Nasdaq probably going to not get there before we have major Nasdaq earnings and SP 500 earnings tomorrow and Thursday. Is there anything from a risk perspective when you're swing trades that you would adjust when we're at inflection points like this? Because between the Fed tomorrow and then all the earnings that we have coming out, we could expect that we could have a big move in earnings. Now, do you ever say, hey, I need to make sure that I'm trimming some things or maybe alter targets? Is there anything that changes in your perspectives when we have such a big sort of two-day event coming up?
Yeah, so with the Fed, of course, that's a big catalyst. And the fact that this market has run just in the last, 7 days or so from 675 to, let's just call it, to 695. So it's run 20 points, about 3% or so here in a couple days. And then it breaks out. We've always got to be careful of breakouts that occur from extended levels after these moves. And again, the same thing applies. It says, hey, we've got a catalyst tomorrow that, if we see volatility. The good news is it's not going to damage the market if we sell off. In fact, we have a nice cushion. If we were to pull back down into 690 tomorrow, we've got that year-to-date anchor, the anchor off the year-to-date low, and the 5-day moving average right in that zone. So, if we drop down to 690, some people will panic, but that would be healthy. That's also the 20-day moving average. That would reset us for the next move higher. So I think it's just prudent, when there's an event coming that has that's a potential catalyst for big volatility, you say, okay, I'm going to tighten up partial of my SPY position that maybe you bought over here for a swing trade and say, I'm going to lock in some if it drops here. And that way, if it drops all the way down here, I'm not feeling like a dummy for selling for holding the whole thing. And if it continues to move higher, well, then you don't feel like a dummy for, selling the whole thing either.
Brian, thank you so much for everything today. We haven't gotten a new name from you. Generally speaking, you'll give us one or two that you really like. I'm sure you're all about BBAI. I don't know if you saw that today. Is there a name right now that you're looking at? I again you're looking at Run, maybe Sunrun. Is there something else that you want to talk about before we let you go?
Well, Galaxy was a new name, but yeah.
Galaxy, yeah.
In general, NXT reports tonight. They're the largest component in the TAN. So they're, even if they have good numbers, it's possible they'll sell off simply because they've had this run from 92 to 108. Yeah. Maybe it continues to move higher. But if they sell off, that's going to affect the rest of these solars a little bit. The ones that I have an eye on, and I do have a couple of small positions, ARRY. It's got a great looking weekly chart here. If we look at that, it's broken the anchor from the 2023 high and looks like it's got room to continue. I would also say keep an eye on SEDG, Solar Edge. Here's the weekly chart on that. And then you've got SHLS. That one also has a nice looking longer term chart. And as you mentioned, I put Sunrun on the on Twitter. There's the anchor from the IPO in 2015, along with the anchor from the all-time high, along with this prior, what's been resistance for the last couple of years. So, and it's got a 26% short position in here as well. So this is clearly one to continue to keep an eye on for, some potential upside that NXT might be the catalyst in this group.
Yeah, okay, we also had another big name, Enphase, been beat up for a minute there as well, ENPH.
Yeah. The thing I don't like about Enphase is that it's got the declining 200-day moving average. And that's something I talk a lot about. And today, the perfect example for that is UNH. It was above the 200-day moving average, but that 200-day moving average is declining. So I always take points off when we have a 200-day moving average that's declining. So to me, ENPH, it's making a nice run here the last couple days, but it's still got that declining 200-day moving average right here. And in fact, it's interesting that the 200 EMA is right here, which the EMA is supposed to be faster, so it doesn't make any sense, but that's the way it is.
Okay, so we'll have a quick look after we see some reports, NXT on your mind. And yeah, you did mention Galaxy there, Galaxy Digital. So a big name, we'll pay attention to that. And we want to thank you one more time for coming through. Hit those slopes, man. It's always, the powder must be pretty fresh right there in Colorado.
I saw you digging your car out yesterday. The picture of that, you guys got all the snow.
Yeah, we got 20,
a little bit,
22 inches or something like that.
Wow.
In the major city, like Toronto's, 3.5 million people. So it was quite fun.
A little chaos.
Yeah, a little chaotic. But yeah, thanks for checking that out. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It didn't take me too long. The good thing about it was, Brian, it was light snow, so it was just that nice fresh powder. Yeah. So we got out of there. I mean, don't ask me if my kids helped or not because, they didn't. So
I know that struggle.
Get out there clearing other people's.
The struggle is real.
Paid, man.
Brian, thank you so much. Appreciate Go enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, Brian.
See you next week.
That's Brian Shannon.
You know what?
So we're going to quickly take a look at, sorry guys, I didn't think, that's okay. So the ADP employment change weekly came at 8:15 a.m. this morning. Previous number standing at 8,000 and the current at 7.7. U.S. private employers added an average of 7,750 jobs per week. in 4 weeks ending January 3rd, 2026. And a little has changed from an average gain of 8,000 in the previous period, according to the ADP's research. This also represented the 7th consecutive period of employment growth. Another thing, CB consumer confidence came in at 10 a.m. Current was less than the previous number, current standing at 84.5 and previous number at 94.2. The API crude oil stock change also will come out at 4:30 post-market today's. Let's quickly go over our headlines for today. TikTok has settled a social media addiction trial, which involves Meta and YouTube, and is now moving forward. The defendants include Meta, which owns Instagram and Facebook, and YouTube parent company Google. Snapchat is also involved in this, a mention of Snapchat, and however, Snapchat has settled with the plaintiff last week. The trial kicks off today, and the plaintiff, who is a 20-year-old woman identified by the initials of KGM, alleges that the design of the platform algorithms left her addicted to social media and negatively affecting her mental health. KGM's attorney, Matthew Bergman, also told BBC that this will be the first time a social media company has been held to account by a jury at trial. These are direct words from him. Unfortunately, there are all too many kids in the United States, the UK, and all around the world who are suffering as KGM does because of the dangerous, addictive algorithms that social media platforms foist on unsuspecting kids, he said. Moving on to Boeing. And this is just a response to one of the comments that I saw in the stream earlier. Owen Stone Trader was asking thoughts on Boeing. I have them right here in front of you. So Boeing posted the Q4 revenue of $23.9 billion, which is up 57% year over year and ahead of expectations, which is $22.6 billion. The operating cash flow came in at $400 million, which is roughly twice of what Wall Street was modeling. And Boeing delivered 600 aircrafts in 2025, nearly double the 2024 levels, and the highest since the year 2018. CEO Kelly Orberg said progress is tangible with a lot to be optimistic about in 2026, while acknowledging certain rising expectations. And recent orders include customers like Alaska and Delta that are extending Boeing's backlog visibility. Boeing also still needs the FAA approval to raise 737 MAX production above 42 per month following the January 2024 panel blowout incident. That's all I have. Back to the guys.
Thank you very much, Sia. I just wanted to point out there was a post by the president on Truth Social. It's regarding Iraq. You can see, I'm here in the great country of Iraq might make a very bad choice reinstalling Nouri al-Maliki as prime minister. Last time he was in power, the country descended into poverty and total chaos. That should not be allowed to happen again because of his insane policies and ideologies. If elected, the United States of America will no longer help Iraq. And if we are not there to help, Iraq has zero chance of success, prosperity, or freedom, make Iraq great again. Right about then, I was going to say something with regards to UNH. I'll get back to that and maybe a quick, after we do this. Right after that happened, or that post happened, you can see GLD and SLV, I guess by proxy, maybe not as big of a move, but there was a big spike up in the metals, right? So I guess that little flight to safety. There's been obviously right now a bit of a mess geopolitically and really chaos right now in Iran, and further destabilization would not be good, clearly in Iraq if it were to happen. So this could be another reason why you're seeing the metals go to the up. I wanted to get that one to everybody's attention because it seemed to me like I don't know. I always make the mistake when I restart my PC of not logging back into the Truth Social account, so I have to rely for people to retweet these things, and then I notice, because you need to see if the president is posting something, and then you be a little bit faster, because I caught that a couple of minutes late. Just one thought that I wanted to make on UNH, and I know we went directly to Sia, but I can tell you, when I had to swing trade in UNH off 300, which was the second time I had it. The first time I did it, got greedy and was silly because could have taken 10% and didn't, and ended up break even. The second time, I took 2/3 of it out and then trailed at the 50 period, so made money on all of it. But I made sure I took 2/3 of it out when it tagged the 200 period moving average. And the reason why, and not holding for more aggression, was because of something Brian Shannon said to me, maybe even like a year ago. If a stock has a downward sloping 200 period moving average, it changes the litmus on how far I want to hold a swing trade. it makes you want to take profit sooner just because of the downslope. And this is a hefty downslope. So it's something that I don't do a lot of swing trading, but I now take that one to heart. It's like have lower profit expectations and ring the register sooner, or make sure you do at your key levels with that downward sloping 200 period moving average.
So here goes silver right now, just an absolute monster of a play right now, $110, gone. We touched down to 102 right there, and then boom, we just exploded right now on SLV. Nothing but love to the upside right there for silver. I mean, check this out in the last, let's go a minute chart, just upside. So we got stopped out of that trade. Still all good. I mean, we wound up losing on it, of course, but there it goes, taking 110, taking 109.50. Silver, this is going to be trading a little bit different. I have SLV behind me, so this is not one-to-one or anything like that. We've already explained that. This is not the price of silver. PSLV, there's a bunch of different names you could trade. This is Sprott. Spot physical silver, 31 million shares. You can see just a completely different, play as opposed to what silver's actually doing. So, but there it goes, man. Huge move to the upside there on silver just happening right now. The dollar just continues to be weak as well. We talked about the DXY, the US dollar index. Look at that, down to 95 and change again right here, downside. This is what it looks like today. So the dollar just continues to get weaker and weaker over the last 24 hours. I mean, pretty beat up there. Strength in silver, strength in gold, weakness coming through on the US dollar. So there it goes, man. Nice move on the Dixie, and then nice move on the futures for silver with spot going nuts, breaking through 110 for the first time ever. No, I think it must have had it done that before. Actually, I guess I just had the chart up. I could go and look. Look, tomorrow, I just refreshed it just to make sure. No, I think that probably was. Oh, no, we were higher on silver. Yeah, we were up to 108 on SLV, so what am I talking about? Right here, 97% chance of nada tomorrow. So.
If you go further out, I think you have to go to the middle of the year until you get certainty. Not certainty, you know what I mean. Yeah. What I mean is the odds of a cut. Hopefully I'm on the page. Yeah, if you have to go to June until you get a greater than 50% chance of us being a quarter point underneath. So to say that the market is not expecting the rate cuts that we're looking at the end of last year, I think the tone matters. The tone's really going to matter tomorrow. Wow. And do not underestimate the power of the president to steal how could he steal the limelight tomorrow from the Fed? Maybe he announces the replacement. Can you imagine if he did it while Powell was talking?
Yeah, I mean, tomorrow's not. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
There's no reason for him to, but he might, and then the market would suddenly care a heck of a lot more about that than what Powell was saying.
Yeah.
It's worth keeping the back.
Short silver up here. I mean, people are going to tell me no to do it. We just had that'd be interesting. We'll see tomorrow. I mean, join us tomorrow at this time. There'll be no better place to go. We'll show you all the stocks, anything that's moving around, anything that Trump fires off. We'll be here tomorrow. That is for sure. Every day we're live. I was just going to say, maybe right there, the reason why I said that is I can just see that there was just a big volume print. We may do more. I got to see how much volume we did yesterday, but there it is. First big red candle, the largest one of the day. Well, I guess we had some action right there on this move down, but largest one of the afternoon for sure, just getting put into place there. And we do have a couple tops. Is it worth a shot right there on extended volume for silver? Potentially, there it is on the 5-minute chart as well, giving us that volume tick higher and then giving that wick to give us an out if we so need it. But yeah, silver right there, 100, where is that? That would be basically a 101 print, $100.90 to the short side. Oh boy. So it's just a matter of, I guess if you're going to try to hold this, you maybe would use a little bit more shares. But at this level, I think you got to wait. If you're up here and you're taking a short against 101, or maybe you notice that, these couple extensions there, and then you get that top wick, then you could have, you're never going to get the top wick, but on a way back up. So what about something like in this area here? I don't know. This is the thing, man. We go over and, we're very exposed with all of our decisions here because you guys are watching us, make trades live, and obviously we're comfortable doing that. So I just was thinking it is going to look stupid to go short there, but maybe there's something, and then we just use those as our top ticks. in order to get out somewhere. So I was thinking about doing that potentially right now on this play. So, we can definitely have another look here on silver and potentially go short right now. Let's see the reaction as we continue to make some moves now in SLV, okay? So looks like it might want to give that top again here. I don't know, let's just see. If it breaks through it, then wow, I mean, we should just be buying any dips. The minute we broke through right here, that was basically where we got stopped out in 99.50, 99.60. So that was that level that we were talking about. That should have been a long, breaking through the 200 period moving average. It didn't really do anything here, but with momentum, if I'm going to use that as my out, then yeah, we should have pushed into the long. But that's the story there. There it goes, taking out the top. So kind of glad that we didn't do it again. This time on a little less volume. So wow, silver just keeps on. I think it's everybody wants to short it, right? So when everybody wants to short something, that's fuel right there to go back up to the upside. So what an extension, man. This is 20 straight minutes of nothing but upside. 20 minutes ago, this thing was 98.50, man. Now you're at 101. So wow, silver just ripping faces off there.
I feel like if you saw that truth, you could have punched in like 20 seconds after to the metals on that. There's two questions I want to answer in the chat. One of them I'll throw up there. The first one's easy, but the second one I'll throw up there in a quick second because I was asked what the plan was on GameStop. Pretty simple. I'm going to show you GameStop. There's VWAP. There's VWAP hold. There's a higher low. This base here is the confirmation of holding this trend line. There's like 1 point, 2 points. That's a third point. Break the prior bar long, give to prior bar stop, which is about 24.20. I believe I said that when we were talking about it. So I got the 30 long, giving it to 20 and looking for the high of the day. And then the other question was from Pizza Pie. Yeah, it's Pizza Pie.
Pete Alonso?
Pizza Pie. It says, have you ever had a trader that went against your trading rules and still worked out in your favor? Do you mean a trade or trader? A trader that goes against the rules of the prop firm doesn't last. I mean, yeah, that doesn't work. It doesn't usually work. I mean, maybe they can have a few, they can have a run here or there. But like breaking the rules of the prop firm that's a different ballgame. Having a trade that broke my personal rules that worked out in my favor, that happens. Like I broke my rules and won, but that's more like to me that's a bad omen. Like if it happens, like imagine a scenario where
here we go.
Like if I get out of this, if I don't get out of this and then it bounces and goes higher, no, I'd be breaking my rules. If I average into this, that'd be breaking my rules. If I win just because I'm breaking rules, that's not long-term success. That usually just leads to more losses.
All right, guys, we did it. Good question, good answer. There it is, man. Silver. Thank you for that kind of talk there in the chat. I mean, yeah, I don't know, but we shorted it right there. We talked about this potential area, waiting for it to bump up again, and there it is. The short puts on. It's so nice we put it on twice. So there it goes, once, twice, boom, to the downside. There goes silver, man. It is your 50-cent winner. So it's a chicken dinner winner for now. Whether or not this chicken will be a roasted chicken or not, that's soon to find out. But nice move to the downside right now on SLV. So so be it. Wow, I have a buy. I just noticed right now I have a buy at 98.70. Oh, yeah, because that was the break that I was talking about that we should have had. Okay, well, then it came back in. So, all right, I don't know if this move is going to extend or not. We're at a 40% of this already on that downside play. Like, it's really been respecting this 21 period moving average pretty much the whole afternoon. I mean, if we sort of zoom this back out here and take away, here, let's take away these fills. And then have a quick little look here. So these are all the fills that we've had. So there it is right now. Watch this 21 period. See, it's really sort of respected that. So that area right there is 90, basically $100, 99.85. So here it comes right back in again. We'll put another bid out. There it is. We'll take another fill. And now we're out. Well, now we have about 40% left. So sorry, we're out of 40%. Right there on SLV. So you could see, let's see if it winds up holding that. But yeah, man, we do have some balls. We put them on the table there and took that silver trade. So now we'll wait to see what winds up. Oopsies, that's the wrong thing. I want to customize this. Now we'll have, okay, silver, okay. We got to get our fills back in here to show you guys. But hey, look, 5 minutes ago, we sort of said like, that we're exposed to all of our trading ideas right there. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose, but there it is right there. Put it back on. There goes silver to the downside. And there it goes. So shout out to you guys out there. Hope you're having some fun watching some of these trades go through. And why not right there? Thank you, Stock Ed, right there for that. We really appreciate the love on that one. I don't know what this screen is. There it is. Let's go.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, we're going to see if we can get going here again. So, yeah, like I said, we just got some more covers down there. I don't know. This could blow the top again. Silver's just really on one. Don't ever get too confident, like, oh my God, I have the top. This is why we exit out when moves like this happen. You'll often see me just whatever, go right back over to trading, because when there's moves like this, you really got to take advantage of them, right? We did something similar on Google, made that move right there when we were talking with Brian, and we had to cover some down there because it was just too good of a move right back into our bottom area, and then we got some more covers, and so it just gives you a little bit less worry when the market starts to go ham like this back against you. So yeah, not too bad. Yeah, trade sniper, it should be a long. I understand that. Silver. So that's why I really just showed you guys that 21 period, which is why we emptied the clip out a little bit there. I'm going to empty out a little bit more right here at 30s, and then we'll wait, see if we do get that real big flush through 100 again. Like, look what we did, man. We were just watching it right there. It wicked 100. And then right back up again, right on that level that we marked down. So let's not miss it again. We'll sit there a little ahead of it. We'll sit in the teens, and then we'll sit at 01, and then maybe we'll get that wick one more time. And then wouldn't be surprised if silver continues to go back out upside there. All right, Trade Sniper says short 102.50. Hey, man, if it gets there, I've been shorting this name all day. So
that's like isn't that just like the pre-market high? 102.50.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, exactly the pre-market.
Well, technically. Yeah, well, it depends on when you start.
Yeah. Well, those
for our quotes, 102.50 would just be the pre-market high. But look, the market, just to go back to the market for a second, like the Nasdaq is now over 1% and at the top. Just looking at some things that have lagged a bit, AMD is only now at the volume weighted average price. Like if we fail the high, which is a big if, because we're not really failing the high right now, like one of the things I like to look for is in the afternoon, like mean reversion play. So there's this at VWAP, which probably has some space to 253. There's IBIT, which has a potential trend break that I'm eyeballing right now. I am going to reload Rivian at the volume weighted average price. But there are also a couple of things that on the early look that are interesting. BBAI has an early look imbalance of 870,000. It's trend up. UiPath has a 1.6 million early sell, and well, UiPath is having a bad day. I didn't really notice this morning. I think I heard Sharif talk about it briefly. The most important thing is it's been rejecting the volume weighted average price and has that 1.6 million sell imbalance. So I'm going to throw this one up on a chart because I like shorting off of VWAP, or if it's a long trending stock, longing off the volume weighted average price in the afternoon. Throw in that sell imbalance, which just gives me a little bit extra. It doesn't mean it has to go down. So I'm going to look for a UiPath here. Ideally, get it off VWAP, and then I can hold it until that 350. If it gets to 350, comes out my direction, and you're in the money, that's all the better. But let's, I believe, go to my left.
Yeah, we're going to come over here right now. PDSB Biotechnology, under the Nasdaq, PDSB, they're transforming how the immune system targets and fights cancer, with initial focus on HPV-16 positive head and neck cancer. HPV-16 can cause head and neck cancer, and more people are facing these high-risk cancers than ever before. HPV-16 positive head and neck cancers are projected to become the most common type of head and neck cancer in the United States in just a few years. Everybody learn more at pdsbiotech.com. All right, thank you for them to continuously sponsoring our great programming for you guys. Yeah, meanwhile I was doing that, we got filled up in some of our SLV, and it looks like it is one. It's too bad because like we were just in the money nicely on this one, and then I was able to get over there quickly and get a 57 fill. But yeah, it looks like it wants to run higher. As I said, as more traders like myself continue to short this name, and it's a good thing we covered, man. We put the trade back on there, but so it could be a loser. But it was just in the 50s. We'll see if it does fall back in. We got some bids now to make sure that we do capture some of that profit. If it does get back here into the 50s and into the 60s, we'll capture a little bit of profit on that name, and hopefully be able to garner another win on this, but I don't know. There it is. What am I bidding now? Oh, I got that fill. Okay. We just got a 64. We're now into the 50s, and here comes right back in for okay, good. There it comes. Right back in on SLV. Let's see where this name goes. We are now short, so there it goes, SLV. We're bidding 40s now. We'll see if we can get that big trade. Big trade, Neil. Big trade alert. Yes, sir. This is a big trade alert now. We'll sit up in our chair. Like Obi said, when you're a gamer, you sit up like this, you get serious, you get some more points associated with you. But there it goes. goes. Nice move to the downside, man. The bears come for silver right now. Was that the top? I don't know. But now silver goes right away. After that was one of the bigger losers. Now it's the #1 P&L name for me, as there goes silver to the top. And we're out of more, man. We're already out of 50% on that move down. Like I said, we're not counting chickens before they hatch here. All we're doing is shorting this top move on big volume. Now let's see if the volume dies down. Maybe we'll drift a little bit back to the downside, but we are covering like crazy because our out is going to be 101, and that's a nice move to the downside right there. Big time covering happening for me on SLV. There it is, Stockhead. Yeah, trust your gut always, and I think that's very, very important to do. You can look at the charts, but at the end of the day, trading is much more an art than a science. I think we've talked about that many times. But here it comes right back in again, $100. We'll see if it can wind up holding. And once again, you're just seeing what it's doing. It's having some issues right around this 30 marker, which is where this amazing 21 period, I don't know where we found this out from, but a good one so far. It does make a move into $100.15. So let's see if we can get some covers down here, but so far, so good. On silver, man. Yeah, there is no top on silver. Yeah, I think you might be right there.
There's always a top somewhere.
We're getting out.
I promise you that. There's nothing that goes parabolic doesn't eventually find a top. I've never seen a situation where that hasn't been true. It doesn't mean that you can't go up for a long time, be irrational. David Tretsiak, 71 degrees Fahrenheit here. So yeah, nice room temperature. Never seen snow. You have literally never seen snow in your life. Dave's earnings, coin flips. Oh, coin flips. Okay, Microsoft, Apple, up the implied move. I could see that happening. Tesla tanks till Elon announces cute little baby Optimus 12-inch robots. Meta owners. Well, there should be different options for Meta robots. For Optimus robots. That being said, I don't know if we'll get anything crazy from Elon on the call in terms of an update for Optimus. I'd actually bet against that. I don't think you hear anything substantive with regards to that. But Starbucks, Richard, thank you for the super chat, and you just said Starbucks. So, okay, let's look at Starbucks. Again, don't necessarily know the context that you want, but it has been a good recovery. The problem with Starbucks is you can get a leader that everybody believes in.
They report tomorrow, I was just going to say.
Yeah, but at some point it's like they got to actually do something with this. And do something means breakout 100. Every single time we get up here, I'm like, everyone wants a breakout of 100 to take a breakout of 100. It just cannot seem to break 100. It's an obvious level. Everyone and their mother is going to take it, which basically means if it ever goes through, it's going to gap that level. There's no chance they let traders take the breakout of $100. It'll gap through the level or do it in the aftermarket or the pre-market or some nonsense, and they report. But it is a $100 breakout that I'm looking for on Starbucks. I almost don't want any other trade in that particular name. And let's go over to Sia. We're going to talk about small caps.
Thank you so much, Neil. So we're going to take a dive into it straight away. The IWM is up 0.22% today. Let's talk about a couple individual tickers. First up, I have, my favorite, Bloom Energy, BE, up 9.4%. Brokerage Jefferies has raised price target on the power solutions company Bloom Energy from $92 to $92, from $53 as of yesterday. And after we have Applied Digital, APLD is up almost 16% today after its announcement yesterday that it had broken ground on a new artificial intelligence data campus venture. This move came after the firm revealed its plans for Delta Forge 1, a new 430 megawatts AI factory campus in the southern U.S. state. And APLD shares are extremely volatile and have had around 91 moves that are greater than 5% over the last year. Next up, we have BWIN. Baldwin Insurance Group is down 8% today. The company is set to report its fourth quarter earnings on 26th of February of this year, and the company will do that via a conference call to discuss results at 5 p.m. ET on that day. Next up, we have CIFR. Cipher Mining is up 13.6%. The price target has been raised to $22 per share from $13 per share by Keefe, Bruyette, and Woods. And another thing, co-president and COO of Cypher, has just sold 35,568 shares of common stock on the 15th of January this year, and the average price of that was $17.76 per share, which is totaling to $631,687. And quickly, let's also take a look at the market for today. Nothing too crazy going on, but Amazon is going to post its earnings on Thursday next week after the market close. MU is investing $31 billion in the Singapore facilities to boost the NAND chip production, and MU currently is up 6.2%. UNH, as Sharif and I discussed earlier in the show, is not having a good day today after the revenue declined for the first time in 30 years. And United Health also expects a U.S. membership decline of over 3 million lives in 2026. Meta and Google, nothing too crazy. Meta's flat. Google's up 0.69%. I thought there would be some reaction to the TikTok story that I mentioned earlier, but that's about it. Back to the guys.
So by the way, thank you, Sia. David Tretsiak, I confirmed that he'd never seen snow out in San Diego. I mean, I guess it would be rare, but I feel like it's almost, it has to have snowed there at least. It's like you get freak snow in lots of places. I would say this: if you've never seen snow, I wouldn't suggest making an experience like what we had here. And I know lots of, I guess in the Northeast it was the same thing in the U.S. You probably don't want that nonsense as your first experience, but you got to see snow at some point. And whether you like tobogganing or like building a snowman or skiing or something like that, no, winter can be fun when it's not ridiculous. I'm just going to throw that out there. So just try to make sure you don't get caught in these kinds of storms. So we waited for UiPath to get up to VWAP, got some at 29, tried to add to it at 28, but again, stop is at if it breaks VWAP, so like 32 is the out. I'm just going to hold it. I'm going to short the next available pop as well, so long as this stays in place. And we'll update you. There's 20 minutes till the imbalances come out. If this 1.6 turns into 0, well, then it probably moves. If this 1.6 comes out as 1.6, it might be good, but it also might be a nothing burger. If this 1.6 at 350 ends up being like 3 or 2 million, gets larger, then I would want to add at 350. That's unlikely. Usually you're playing into the imbalances more than anything else. And that BBAI imbalance of 900,000, that's not really moving. It's been like 15 minutes now, and it is still 868,000. So it's much more interesting if it either starts out big or is growing. QBTS, by the way, 775,000 imbalance there. That had news this morning. I'm trying to, back of my mind, remember what the story was on QBTS. I just remember it hadn't really moved a heck of a lot. Yeah, only up 3%. I don't think it was a big story for D-Wave.
Well, there was a. It was on our watch.
It was in the watch list.
But then there was a.
It was QBTS, Adara.
There was a report, a short report on it, but I don't know.
There were a couple stories. The biggest one, though, and I think the one that was on the watch list, was they partnered up with Davidson and, most importantly, Anduril. They did a quantum test demonstration. It went well. That's the main thing.
Okay, so Andrew, that's good, a piece of news. But there was a short sell report in the middle of the day on it.
Yeah, Citron, I think.
Which, to not react to a Citron report, I think are they losing their mojo?
I thought they weren't even going short anymore, so I don't know.
Well, so did I.
Maybe it was a long report. Could have been a long report.
Okay, well, if it's a long, yeah, but even if it was a long report, then they're still losing their mojo because it's not doing anything. Mm-hmm. I feel like the days of Citron automatically moving a stock just might be over. Like there used to be almost a guaranteed reaction. And I'm not singling them out, like whatever. There's not millions, but there's lots of other short sell firms that do their report and the stock moves, and that's how they make their money. That's how they do their thing. But I feel like they just don't have the influence that they used to. And they did say they were not going short. I just don't know if they still hold to that.
Right.
Andrew Left had said they were stopping that game and only going long. Whether or not that's something they've changed, who knows. Rivian back into the low. There's no reloaded VWAP yet. Don't want to be too aggressive here, but it looks like we are sliding back lower as we speak. Is the market not really going bye-bye? I don't think so.
No, silver's going bye-bye. But the thing is that we, because we had that big, huge silver position, honestly, I lost patience with Google because I wanted to, oh, shit. Big time movement now in silver, but I'll go back in a second. I got out for flat. I was just like, I'm just going to take this out because realistically, I wanted VWAP up here. So if it just kept on going up, all I would have done was average in right there. And if it broke, it broke. So, if you're still in this Google trade, that's good. I honestly got out of it just because of this exact reason. Yes. Wow, okay, now we are starting to get going here on spot. I have to see what spot's doing. But there's silver right into the 50-period moving average. Big trade alert, man. We were just talking about that. I was talking about it with a guy at lunch. I was talking about it yesterday. That silver is going to be like all about what I'm doing moving forward here. And there goes silver. Big time trade alert on SLV. I don't know, man. Like we sort of talked about this live with you, in that I like this trade up there. I really just saw basically the volume go, and that's what we want to see, right? And we lost there going short, but, we play that patient game and hopefully catch it there. So now with silver absolutely pumping to the downside. Let's go right now on silver, man. And that was a nice move to the low side right there. So, again, just look at the difference. Like some of these names, if you're sitting in names that are this active, yeah, you can get big moves either way. I mean, this is not even back to where we were back at 3 o'clock. So I am looking for, we said this would be the first spot that we would look for on the absolute way down. So we take 2 fills down there, and really happy that we did, man. My best fills were, actually they're both, believe it or not, one was a 75 and then one was a 73. So, the thing was at 75, 73s. The lowest we got there was 66s or so. So we did pretty good. I think now we can almost look at 99. Maybe even the fact that we just bounced off 60. Let's put another bid there. It's just so crazy how these stocks move, or how this particular instrument moves. There it goes with silver. And if we have a quick look at what, the sort of spot silver, there's DXY. Maybe that's trying to bounce a little bit here, the strength in the US dollar. But if we type in here silver and we go to COMEX, where is it here? Silver per ounce. Okay, that should work out right here as well. So yeah, a little bit of a, not even like a big move down there. We only went from is this the right spot price? 111.34 down to 110.55. Hold on a second. Silver, CMC markets. Okay, there's another Forex, NYC. Okay, MCX, CMC. All right, silver cash. Yeah, okay, so same prices right now. All right, so yeah, $100. So it didn't even drop that much, but SLV did make that move lower there. So yeah, giddy up, man. We'll wait to see how far we can go. Just to bounce off 110 flat right there. So interesting. Now that we're trading silver, we could always have a look over here, but then I'm looking at multiple charts. Either way, that's your 50-period moving average, and that's exactly where we got out right there on SLV. So happy to look at this in many different ways, but that was a banger right there, and I'm glad that you guys were on it. We now only have 20% left of the position. So yeah, this could just rip right back up. So let's hold our last 20%. Maybe we do get that dream there to the downside, despite their earnings report. And I know you got a question on Starbucks there earlier. That $100 mark is something. We like this name down there at 80 where it came from, but
it's a matter of time.
Now we've come up to this a bunch of times, man, and it just keeps on failing at this area. You can go all the way back to last year. This is last March, the last time we were up here. So you had to go whoops on this earnings report. Or no, that's April. And so I guess earnings would have been like what we're doing right now, end of Jan. So they actually had a good quarter right there. But nice move down from 98. We'll see what happens now. Starbucks, I think it looks pretty good.
You could actually call that level the Brian Nickel wall at that 98 to 100 level. Like, it's been unable to do anything with that.
He's done good for the stock.
He's done well for the stock, but it's like that's like the one hump that it has been unable to get through is just that last breakout. And everyone's talked about this turnaround for quite some time. I think that's what gets it some serious juice. Like, to anyone that's shorting, it's going to be afraid of it. And anyone that's shorting Meta today, you were winning early.
Google, damn.
And often as well. But it's getting close to that. It's pretty much at the 200-period moving average. Just got a question about this, and I still feel the same thing. Until this bad boy is breaking out over the 200-period moving average, the support is off the $600 level. You can make an argument about the 50-period moving average, and I won't argue too far against you. But I'll feel better if we're closing above the 200-period moving average, and it doesn't matter if we do that before earnings. You got to do it after earnings. Otherwise, still consider that 600 where it matters. And we have a weird thing happening with Meta because the market and some of the tech stocks want the CapEx spend to be continuous and still big, and that would be good for your chip stocks and the like in the AI trade, but it's not going to be good for Meta. Meta, if you want Meta stock to go up, then it'll be bad for the chips, in my opinion. So this is not going to be a rising tide lifting all ships. I think if there's a drastic cut in their CapEx spending, I think the stock could soar. But that's not going to bode well for other segments in the market. So if you're like diversified in tech and like you got a bunch of AI plays, but you want Meta to go up, I don't think this is going to be a fun earnings season because I think it'll just offset if this one spikes. But we'll see. We had 10 minutes to the imbalances, so any reload on UiPath will probably have to wait if it doesn't come soon. Let's go back up to the desk, I believe, with, is it Adara?
Here is our implied earnings moves calendar for January 28th. That's tomorrow morning. A lot of blue logos on watch tomorrow. We'll get ASML, BFC, AT&T, General Dynamics, Corning, GLW, Amphenol, Progressive Insurance, and Starbucks. Starbucks time is unclear, though apparently their earnings call is going to be at 8 a.m., so we will get that earnings report likely sometime before then. I also want to mention GEV and Elevance, both reporting tomorrow before the bell. They did not have an expected move at the time I made this, so they are not included on there, but just note both of those companies are reporting as well. Also, TXN earnings after the bell. I have an infographic for said earnings. That's going to be released a couple minutes before the earnings come out, so stay tuned. X at TTV Research, your one-stop shop for infographic and earnings content. Back to you.
Yeah, GEV report. No, GEV reports tomorrow morning.
They do?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, because it's not on the list because it doesn't have, as Adara just mentioned, she doesn't have the expected move. But that's one of the bigger names because if you're invested in like the nuclear space, the energy space, that's a huge earnings report to come out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So I don't know, I'm probably being too excited about it being an important one because I own the stock, but no, that one really matters.
There's a GEV earnings preview infographic that's going to come out tomorrow right before the earnings. So it is ready. It'll come out right as you wait to see the report.
See, always got you. Adara always has you covered. By the way, that BBAI imbalance is creeping. It's now 950. Yeah. If this could come out over 1 million, that would be a little bit more exciting. The thing about BBAI is it's on 81 million shares here, so I mean, heck, we're talking about barely 1% of the day's volume on a bit of an uptrend. The other side, and the other way to play this, provided that you actually have locates, would be to look for it to come out a buy. I just checked to make sure that we did. If it comes out a buy and then flips at 355 or pairs off, you could try like a trend break on BBAI, but that one at least looks interesting as well. And Rivian just keeps on holding this bottom. So this might end up not really, like it's going to scalp inside of this 10-cent range instead of pressing further into the lows. Rivian, just as an explanation here, on Friday, I'm like, this is a short till it gets to the 200-period moving average. So if it sets up under VWAP, just going to short VWAP. But I do still think that this 200-period moving average is a good area to look for a bounce. It hasn't held exactly, but there was accumulation there the last time. If it can start to accumulate again, I think there could be a nice little swing coming up in Rivian, provided it has a chance to go before they actually have to report. Let's go to Sia for Money Talks. And we got a super chat when we come back.
Okay, good.
I really like the way you pronounce my name right now, Neil. Sia. Okay. So we're going to quickly dive into Money Talks right now. The dollar is under pressure on certain Trump policy risks. It's increasingly framing U.S. President Donald Trump's more aggressive geopolitical and economic stance as a structural negative for the dollar. The dollar index has fallen back to last year's lower bound, the levels that have not been seen since the year 2022. And this dollar weakness is also feeding through into broad gains for the euro and safe haven metals. Let's also take a look at the yen. In yen, markets are still dissecting the Friday's sharp USD JPY drop from 159 towards 157 after BOJ Governor Ueda's press conference with the official data that suggested no large-scale BOJ intervention, only possible small moves. And combined Fed and BOJ uncertainty plus certain rumors of FX interventions around the dollar are more broadly amplifying a two-way risk in USD JPY and USD CHF. That is a Swiss franc. That's all. Back to the guys.
Ooh. Bills foreign, Swiss francs. Before I die, I need my money in a Swiss bank. I can see right through these haters like fish tanks. And now they frown at my watch like my wrist stanks. That's one of my favorite. Every time I hear, you just say, look, you say Swiss francs, I'm gonna drop a line from it. Shout out to Ryan Leslie, R-Less, love the artist. But with only 5 minutes to go until the imbalances, Mr. Easy Peasy. Now, the first time I incorrectly stated we got a super chat from Easy Peasy because Dave Treziak led off his post or his message with Easy Peasy. But Easy Peasy has come with the $5 because the New Year's resolution was to give 0.2% of the profits. And thank you so much. Oh, shout out, Neil. And to David Treziak, another one of our viewers, on the UNH puts. If Sean and Neil, I will be off, If Sean and Neil, I will be off negative day yesterday, but 3K. Okay, well, I'm confused. You were negative yesterday, but up 3K today. Oh, so I was off yesterday, so it's not my fault. Well, I mean, that has nothing to do with anything, but I was off yesterday. But you're negative yesterday, 3K today. Congratulations, and thank you for sharing there, Easy Peasy. I just can't make up the wording sometimes. And I feel like, yeah, you know what? I always want to make sure we get that clearly. But if Sean and Neil, I will be off. I don't know. It's kind of a weird one. But UNH.
What's going on with silver, man? Silver is just going absolutely insane right now. Like it's bouncing $100.50 down to 100 again. It's just like I was just watching it. It's like some of these levels just absolutely. Feels like there's going to be like an absolute monster move coming through at any time here. So I'm going to have to wait for it. But right now it looks like silver making a move. I just covered a little bit more there at $100 right now. Is that for me, Andre? I've got this in a couple seconds. Okay, no problem. All right, so yeah, there it goes. I don't have any more bids, man. I'm bidding 99.70s, so we're still bidding down here. I have to take a profit. That last move, I was just watching. I was like, oh, what are we going to do about silver? And all of a sudden, I went a little nuts there. So we'll put a bid there, get that 50-period moving average, and hopefully we'll get a move down. We're getting lighter and lighter on this, man. We have now about like 17, 18% of this. If it does come back in, we'll take out, maybe 5% more, and then we'll see if we can hold for what would be the dream back into VWAP for the close. So we'll see if silver can do that. But there's only 14 more minutes left, and we got to be flat at the end of every single day. So we got to watch out for that trade as we trade here at Real Trading on a prop floor. But we're going to watch silver. Remember where my stop is, man. If we break through 101, I'm out, and I have no more shares to add to this position.
And speaking of what we do here, we also have a look at companies such as this, Feed. And that is a medical advice company to keep an eye on. It's called NView Medical, and the ticker is the aptly mentioned FEED. The company designs and markets a guided feeding tube platform to hospitals across the U.S. today. The majority of hospitals do this procedure blindly, leading to unavoidable injuries from misplacements. Think of this platform as a GPS for feeding tube replacement, which can improve patient safety and streamline how care teams work. What stands out to us here is the growing appetite for this platform throughout the U.S. hospitals and how this tech fits right into the clinical needs. They're already in 38 hospitals as of today, and as hospitals continue to push for safer, more efficient solutions, NView looks like the company building scalable technology with real-world demand behind it. Definitely one to watch. And again, on the Nasdaq with FEED, anytime you want to give me an easy ticker in terms of understanding what the company does, I'll give them a shout out for that. We're going to go right back up to the desk. 3 minutes till imbalances. Let's go to Sia.
I just want to update on what I'm seeing right now because I just talked about the U.S. dollar and U.S. President Donald Trump just saying the dollar is doing great. The dollar is seeking its own level, which is fair. Another update that came just now that I've read, I found really funny. I can have it up or down like a yo-yo. And what the U.S. president is also saying about China and Japan is that China and Japan have always wanted to devalue currency. That's all. Back to the guys.
Yeah, they have. And so, yeah, I mean, the dollar keeps getting weaker. We've seen that a little bit. Talk about China here. Silver's still going insane. I put I just put another bid in the 30s. Like it just ripped up. We could have got short again right there, right now. So there it goes, man. Here goes Baba coming back into the downside. What a good short that was straight off the open. there. Bang, that got to 176.
Yeah, but it lost 175. That's a big low.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It got to 172 right now. So we'll have to see if Alibaba continues to mature upside or not. FXI would be how you trade this. Of course, we talked about the other day, like, you know, investing in the United States has been not the right way to go. Emerging markets has been the way, and FXI also not really the way, as FXI just kind of trying to go, but does fail breakout at 40, but does hold the 200 period moving average. I think it's very, very risky to be involved in any of these. The emerging markets play is right here. This is an iShares MSCI product. I'm not sure exactly the percentages in here, but if you're going to talk about what's been happening with emerging markets, India, so on and so forth, you know, some South American names, Brazil, like this has just been okay, there goes silver. Silver just took off to the upside, by the way, like crazy right there. So it's fine. We're positive on silver. Like I said, it'll be PL1, but it just ripped up $1. I'm going to show that in a minute. But there goes EEM. Huge move, right? I mean, as opposed to silver, as opposed to S&P 500 or anything like that. Look at this move on silver. Wow. Right there. Boom. Just absolutely took off to the upside. So I told you had 15 or 18% left. We didn't average into any of it, so whatever. It sucks because, you know, obviously our net was a lot better down here than it is up there, but we'll make money on it, and there it goes, man. Upside, upside, upside. And there's the 50-period moving average, right? Really respected it. And once we broke right into there, should have been giddy up. But that's okay. We're learning a lot about this, and yeah, we will we'll make millions on silver together, okay? Just won't be today. Gold is making a move high side as well. And there it goes, right? Gold, 474 right now. Spot gold, obviously there over that $1,000 marker. Again, $1,000, $5,000, $1,000. What are we talking about, 5 years ago? But here it is, gold right now. We'll go to the same sort of a look there. We'll go to, there, gold, dollar per ounce, TVC, okay. Yeah, there it is, 5,200 or so. It looks like we almost got into there, 51.7, that's gonna be the high. Let me just look over on a daily chart here just quickly, and then we'll throw, oh, the imbalances are now out, by the way. Just quickly, yeah, so there it is, gold, all-time highs. Bye-bye gold for that one. Imbalances are now out, which does explain why we're getting a little bit of a movement here. All right, so Bax. Oh, that's a big one. Big sell there.
What? That's Baxter.
Yeah, exactly. It's a pharmaceutical name.
Yeah.
So we can have a quick look at that and what's going on there. I got to get rid of some of my exchange.
It's not moving.
There it is. Nah, it's not. Yeah, it's not.
It was an early look, huge.
It was a broker early look. It's not there now.
It came out as nothing. Oh.
Apple sell. Okay, so imbalances, right? I mean, there's the Apple sell boom. This is why we say it's very, very difficult sometimes to follow these imbalances, especially when they move like this. And there it is, nice move to the downside there. Pinterest has been sort of back and forth today, down 9%. They're downgraded, not a great name there, Pinterest. NVIDIA, only 700,000, but definitely creating some downward movements now as the TQs, yeah, falling on some of that. And look at silver, man, hi-ho. It just drops right back in again. Ripped up on those imbalances and then right back down. So what a name, man. LV continues to make moves. I'm going to watch Apple in case there's a sort of a last-second move back higher here.
Yeah, look, obviously, UiPath was 1.5 in the early look. It came out as nothing. So immediately punched some out and then left to stop, but I'll just get out of it. It's like you want that to come out as either, at least the size that it was on the early look, if not bigger. Instead, it hits VWAP, but then gets down like a small amount before it actually turns around here. And really nothing crazy. The other one here, APLT, is a penny stock, 9 cents. That's not going to do anything. Rigetti, however, is at least interesting. 1.3 million to buy on Rigetti. So this one, it's got a triple top on it. So I'm going to have this up because if at 355, there's a reverse, like that pairs off at 355, you've got a triple top to work off of. Then there'd be like a scalp trade potentially into VWAP for Rigetti. So I'm just going to throw that one up on a side burner. Rivian made one last salvo into the volume weighted average price where I was sitting, so I did reshort it there, but it's barely moving, so we're just going to get out on the bid as it comes back. Should have shorted this all day at volume weighted average price. If it does this yesterday, then it should be every single trade, not just a few. So we'll get out of that one if it breaks VWAP or if we get down to the low of the day, and then my eyeballs are going to be on Rigetti for 355. Slight buy imbalance, big enough, over 1 million shares when it's done 20 million, and we've got the high of the day. So if we see this pair off or flip, and it looks like it's already doing it early. It's already starting to pair off at 353. So this might not even hold over $1 million by the time we get to 53, which put a bit of a kibosh on that idea.
All right, I'm still, not too many big earnings today, but we are. Someone asked a question. Oh, I actually marked it down and I forgot to show it on the show. Here it is right here, send selected. So yeah, man, tomorrow, we're here, man. Tomorrow after market, we have a big show for you. All the earnings tomorrow on deck. There's a whole bunch of them. Join us tomorrow and we will go over them all with you live. There will be no better coverage than right here at Trader TV Live tomorrow for all of the earnings. Like as soon as they hit, we'll talk about them. We'll call up the charts. We'll give you like a little bit of a look at what we're thinking and whatnot. So yeah, join us tomorrow with that.
We don't mess around when it's a big earnings. Like what I remember when it was a couple of maybe 2 or 3 reports ago, 3 reports ago, where Meta for some reason was delayed and it just kept on delaying and no one knew when they were coming out. We stuck around until we actually saw Meta because we know that's what everyone's looking for. Let's be real. So the Mag 7 get underway for real tomorrow. And Fed, meh. Earnings after market, yes, that matters more. At least in my opinion. Other people might say, oh, but it's the Fed. Yeah, but they're not doing anything, so who cares? And Powell's a lame duck. But the numbers, they're not going to be able to lie, especially when it comes to CapEx, especially when it comes to the guidance for the rest of the year, and that'll be big, specifically for Meta. Longman, thank you for the super chat. I don't have it up, but oh, there we go. I do have it up there. Logman. I keep saying Longman because it's trading, right? So you think long. Logman 001, attaboys all around. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you for being part of the community. Make sure that you're locked and loaded, ready to go tomorrow. Keep that same enthusiasm and that same energy because we got a big, long day tomorrow. I know I said the Fed doesn't matter as much as earnings, but let's be real. We still have a Fed day, and we got the earnings to boot. 355 is hit. Intel popped up. It's now 1.3 million to buy. That was not there before. ETHA, 1.3 million to buy. Yeah. That's not usual. That's about it, but I can't remember the last time I saw no imbalance on ETH. And then all of a sudden, it just popped in, but it didn't move. This is the problem with some of these ETFs. It's like the imbalances, they just don't care. Yeah, come out of nowhere, you get a 1.4 million imbalance. If that happened on an individual stock, probably would move it, but not on ETH.
Yeah, another name that we're green on today, look what happened to Google. As I focus on silver, look what happens to Google. So we absolutely, process is priceless and perfect. So I could be upset, but we'll not upset, but we got out of that. So I would have got more out right here anyways, but there goes Google. And we had the trade and got out of it to focus on silver and was happy to get over for flat at the time. Obviously to have that back, that would have been something right there. Oh man. Silver just 101. So SLV just 101 now and going, gone. Trade Sniper is going to hit me up and let me know what he's looking at there. Gold still, that's a one-day chart here for gold as that continues, to make new highs as well. There's the 1 minute chart there for gold. Nice little move higher there. And then silver on spot again. 112 just took that out, and so now we'll wait to see where we go from here as SLV, just look at the 50-period moving average, just really loving that trade there. And then the DXY, let's see what the dollar is doing. Yeah.
Tank sitting.
So there it goes. So,
the second the president
right there on that.
Opened his wallet.
Wow, this was even at 350, 344. So I don't know what was going on there, but bang, right there down to the downside there immediately. So I don't know if that had something to do with silver and gold breaking. What time is that? 344. Okay, let me see what gold was doing at that time at 344. Yeah, sure, it's breaking higher. Everything breaking higher at that time. And there's SLV. Yeah, so, okay. But yeah, the dollar really getting hit again. Sia, Dara, we've all talked about that here today. Nice downside play there for the DXY. And not a great day market-wide. I guess it was a good day market-wide. What am I talking about?
The Nasdaq.
Nasdaq's still up 0.9. I don't know what the ES, we have to check out.
Yeah, like 0.4. Kind of
the ES
nothing
is,
day for
yeah,
ES.
0.4. So coming in, we only have 3 minutes left, but some of the producer manufacturing, we talked about this earlier, AMAT, LRCX, wait for ASML coming through very soon. Eli Lilly taking a little bit of a move down today, down 2.5%. Tesla, not that bad, only down 1%, and we can see right there, 430 there for Tesla. They're reporting, again, join us tomorrow. It should be an absolute monster day for all of those names. And how can you find these names? Well, if you just go into here and you type in TTV research, and that comes up, and then, this is Adara's account. She's going to be... All right, I don't know, who's this, Texas Instrument guy? That looks like somebody I know, actually. Who is this guy? Haviv Ilan, nope, I don't know him. Okay, as we go to the downside right here, this is what's coming today. And if we go over and we see what's going on this week, we've got some big names, man, and this is what's coming through tomorrow. There it is right there. I not really like this logo because it's on the front of the car. So there's the Tesla. We've got IBM, Microsoft really running like just these 4 names right into here. Meta, Microsoft, IBM is enough. Then you have Lam Research. That's going to help us figure out if this GPU game is over or not, what's going on there, if they still see some demand. Good for them. ServiceNow will help us a little bit with some of the sales side. Celestica, a big Canadian company, going to report. And then tomorrow morning, we've got ASML overnight. I didn't even see this. There's GE Vernova. That's going to help us with the data center build out as well. Corning, all the glass Apple uses. We'll see if that had any effect there with Corning. VF Corporation. I'm wearing my Uggs today. I don't know if that's VF or... the other one that owns Uggs, Deckers, outdoor. But there is Starbucks as well. And then after that, man, we've got Apple, SanDisk, and Visa the very next day with Caterpillar, man. What a monster name. I mean, we're just getting started here. So you found the right spot now. I mean, we're going to be going over all of these plays every single day with you, starting at 8 a.m. And there goes silver, going to go out at the high of the day right here. Well, the high of the afternoon anyway. Silver all the way back to where we opened, man. Silver, whoops. Ramps all the way up. We'll see that tomorrow, man. We like trading some silver around here.
Well, it's got a V in it, so why not? With only about 15 seconds or just above 15 seconds to go. And again, not crazy earnings tonight, but that lets us rest up for tomorrow. This closing bell brought to you by AIML Health. Scan the QR code in front of you. You can find them on the CSE at AIML, the symbol. And now the market is closed. It was a heavy drop. I was sort of looking up the heavy drop in the US dollar. There are a few things, if you don't have Forex quotes or maybe you don't have the Dixie, here at Real Trading, you can look up UUP, which is one of those like leveraged ETFs for the US dollar. So you can look at that move and it trades decent volume, like 1.7 million on the day. Maybe not great. I'm sure there's another better one. Because here we're always looking for things to express the trade with your equity risk. For a lot of traders at Real Trading, this is one way that you can play US dollar strength or weakness, either way. We do have Forex here, like I could. It's just I don't even think I have Forex buying power because I don't trade it. So you look at US CAD, US Jet, Euro, JPY as well. But yeah, buckle up, everybody. It starts with ASML. I think very importantly with GE Vernova tomorrow morning because that's the big data center. That's a big data center and energy play for sure.
I mean, they got hit pretty badly on their last.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
still is fine. But.
I know, but the day of it caused some the reverberations around GE Vernova because Vistra is going to move on that and. CG is going to move on that as well, and some of the big spenders might move. Some of the other AI stocks down the line might move on that. You might see your SMRs catch some strays if that's the case. I could see that happening. NNE as well, maybe in Oclo. So you make sure you have that on the radar. You're in the right spot tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. We'll be right there, bright and early. We got guys tonight. I don't know what you got going on with the kids.
One's at Dryland and shooting clinic. Then Dryland. My son's not doing anything. And that's about it. What show are we watching? Oh, we watched that. I was talking about that rock, that free climbing guy. Oh, we're still working our way through Abbott Elementary.
Oh,
it's a great one, which Aaron would like, actually.
Nice.
Very easy to watch about grade school teachers. It's kind of fun. Winning tons of awards.
And the kid from, he's not a kid anymore. The actor from Everyone Hates Chris is.
Oh, is that the big? Oh yeah.
Yeah. But he's
really weird.
I call him a kid because he's clearly younger than us. But he's obviously not a kid anymore. But that's where I know him from. Anyway.
All right, you guys want to see something quickly? Don't go anywhere. I'll give you a little bit of tip here. Texas Instruments is out. So there it goes, man. Texas Instruments making a move there to the upside. Just a little sneak peek, man. Tomorrow, we'll be going all over this, man. Adara will have all of these releases for us. Brendo, myself, Neil, join us tomorrow. The 4-pack, fatal 4-way tomorrow. There, it's a wrestling thing. We're going to
come off the top rope.
Yeah, come off the top rope, come off that side.
I wonder if you could jump. No, you couldn't.
I could jump over it, but yeah, I don't want to jump.
Not on that desk. Randy built the desk. I'm not putting my feet on it.
Yeah, I know. That would probably fall apart immediately. All right. Thank you, everybody. It was a good day. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Ciao.
Peace.